2020 wasn't just a hard year because of a pandemic. We were thrown curveballs in our communities and personal lives that we never would have seen coming. I know personally I was thrown many this year, many of which are still difficult to comprehend. We've spoken a lot about loss on this show before, but today we get to talk about how a life lives on. Back in early July of 2020, I received a phone call that no one likes to get. My friend Aiden called me to notify me that our friend, Kyle Robinson, passed away due to an automobile accident. His passing left the St. Rose community, the Plymouth, Massachusetts community, his family and friends, and many more grieving. Kyle was a musician, a mentor, a friend, a brother, a son, and so much more. He embodied that notion to not take yourself too seriously, but to take what you do seriously. I remember him as a tremendous producer with such a great ear for arrangements and a powerhouse of a stage performer. He always managed to give a lot of himself to anyone who needed him. Hardly have I ever heard one person be regarded as so many people's best friend. He had a charisma about him that seemed too good to be true. So, during a year that already was hard enough, his passing came as a shock, and quite a major blow. Back in August, when I was producing the web series St. Rose Rocks, I insisted in making an episode in his honor, highlighting the music and memories of Kyle. It was heartwarming to see all those who pitched in to supply content and kind words, along with the response that the video received. I garnered photos, videos, and music from teachers, colleagues, bandmates, friends, and family, featuring snippets spanning from intimate stories to just the little ways that Kyle was able to brighten somebody's day. While I was putting that video together, something else, something big, was already in the works. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Walsh Wednesday, the Reflective Series. Today, I have Kacie Ciarelli and Sam Walczyk from the Kyle Robinson Memorial Foundation. In this episode, we talk about the hard work and the incredible people that it took to create this foundation, how it has already impacted Kyle's communities, and share some of their favorite memories of Kyle. Besides that, Kacie and Sam are here to promote the first annual Kyle Robinson Memorial Foundation Telethon, happening this Saturday, March 20th, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. All of that and more, right after this. According to Cancer.org, brisk walking can help you maintain a healthy weight, strengthen your bones and muscles, and improve your balance and coordination. It can boost your mood and help you sleep better. Research shows that getting regular physical activity and staying at a healthy weight can help reduce your risk of cancer, as well as heart disease and diabetes. You've heard me talk about my experience with cancer and the American Cancer Society in previous episodes, but I'm proud to say that the story continues. Walsh Wednesday has joined with the Relay for Life of the Capital Region campuses in affiliation with my alma mater, the College of St. Rose. The virtual event takes place Saturday, April 10th, 2021. You can donate or join our team, the Walsh Wednesday Warriors, at the links provided. Otherwise, you can also create your own team. If you do so, make sure to affiliate yourself with your college under the business selection. Another way you can support the team is by taking part of my Walking Wednesday Challenge. As spring is just around the corner, I've been enjoying getting back outside for a run or even just a brisk walk. I would love it if you joined me. While you're out on your walk, jog, run, or whatever exercise you're performing, regardless of the day, take a picture and use the hashtag #WalkingWednesday and tag Conor Walsh Music and the American Cancer Society of the Capital Region. To re-emphasize a point that Nick Lippers made while he was on several episodes ago, the pandemic put a halt on research and awareness. So much of the momentum in regards to scientific and cultural breakthroughs were reduced, and much of the progress will be stinted for a while. Though the ways we approach our daily lives and events are still different, it does not mean that we can't find new ways to advocate and make the importance known. Not only is it important for the sake of research, but by supporting your local Relay for Life events, you are ensuring that they will survive through the pandemic and will continue to be around for years to come. Though Relay for Life is going to look different this year, let's spend some time to make sure that we can do it again. Hey everybody, we are back, and right now I am sitting down with the president and treasurer of the Kyle Robinson Memorial Foundation. I have Kacie Ciarelli and Sam Walczyk with us today. Guys, how are you?
Good.
Great.
We're here to talk about the Kyle Robinson Memorial Foundation, and you guys have a lot of really cool things coming up in the future. But before we get into that, I want to start off with, what was the inspiration for getting this up and going? Well, obviously, we know the inspiration, but what was the thought process and what was the work that made this a reality?
Soon after Kyle passed, a lot of us were just kind of really struggling and trying to come to terms with what had happened. And there was a big kind of looming question of, how can this be the end and stuff like that. And so, not to get too dark, we just kind of realized that this is not the end and we need something to kind of propel his spirit forward and continue his legacy. And so a couple of us banded together originally, and we just kind of wanted to have some sort of something that would keep our friend group together, as well as doing something for others in the name of Kyle, because that's just kind of the person that he was. And so we originally wanted to do just a simple little scholarship fund, but that kind of took its own path and grew wings and kind of turned into a whole foundation, a nonprofit, because we all just kind of realized that this is something that will definitely keep us together and also give us many opportunities to do lots of things in the name of Kyle. So yeah, Sam, you want to pick it up?
Yeah, I kind of remember at least the first times that Kacie talked about it was, while I consequently I hurt my foot the same day that I found out about this, and I was just kind of shook and had no idea what to do with myself. And then I just kind of remembered I think it was a few weeks after that, Kacie had called me asking me what I would have thought about doing something like that. And as she was saying, we kind of started off with this whole scholarship thing, and then realized that maybe that wasn't exactly the way we wanted to go. And that way we were trying to support his family while they were going through all of this too. Cause as hard as it was for us, it was hard on the whole Plymouth community and all that. So that's kind of where a lot of what we decided to do stemmed from, was working with him and working with Plymouth and all the people that he had touched, and how he really was just a positive force in the world. That's kind of where it all started.
No, that's very, very big, and it's very impressive what you guys were able to do, because you don't hear college students every day making their own foundation and building something like this from the ground up, and it's super impressive. You mentioned this already. Kyle was from Plymouth, Massachusetts, and one of the main goals that you guys have, besides just the scholarships in general, you guys are now a leading donor to the North Plymouth High School, where Kyle went. Can you tell us about how that you guys got involved and integrated with them?
Like us, there was a huge community in Plymouth, just a ton of people that Kyle touched that wanted to do something in honor of him as well. And so one of the ideas was that his high school choir teacher, I believe, Dave Grossman, had this idea to make an educational kind of recording studio, student-run record label type of thing within the high school, just to kind of really start kids early on learning about music and different careers in the music industry that aren't just performance and stuff like that. While we were kind of coming up with this idea to do the foundation, we were also talking to Dave, and we were like, hey, this could work out wonderfully. We could have this foundation and we could give you all of these resources to help you educate your high school students in recording arts and stuff like that, as well as, giving you guys money for whatever you need and donating gear and all that kind of stuff. That was another thing that made us realize that we need to do something bigger than just a scholarship fund. That's why the nonprofit is the way that we chose to go, because we did really want to support, other projects like that.
And as you just said, it's the nonprofit foundation now, and that obviously must take a lot of work to create a nonprofit and to be able to make it into what it is. Can you tell us about what you guys had to do in order to, build this up and get started?
Yes. So it was definitely a lot of work, but a lot of fun. I know that throughout our, little group, we have a lot of people that are just kind of like people that need to do things in order to feel okay, I guess. I am one of those people for sure. And so when I had this idea of the foundation, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to throw myself into research. I'm just going to channel all of my grief into kind of like figuring out how to do this. And luckily, I am employed at a local law firm, Martin Harding and Mazzotti, and I have a couple connections there with legal people. And so one of the first steps that we took was kind of just reaching out to a person with legal background just to kind of be like, what do we need to do to even do this, So it was a lot of Google searching and reaching out to people who knew things. So yeah, but basically like first step was just kind of figuring out what do we even need to do. We realized there was a ton of tax stuff involved and writing up a certificate of incorporation and writing up bylaws and figuring out how this is going to run and if we need to have employees and like all that kind of stuff. But the first thing that we did was reach out, and we actually had gracious Paul Harding, one of the partners at Martin Harding and Mazzotti, donate a little bit of time and legal expertise to help us with that. And we got that initial paperwork drafted. We ended up sending it into the state. And from then on, we just kind of did it ourselves. The tax form for the IRS for the tax exemption was probably the hardest. But, a lot of us, even though we're music majors and stuff like that, we also have interest in that kind of stuff. So it wasn't too bad. It was just kind of a learn as you go kind of thing. But it did take a couple months. It was pretty hefty.
Especially for learning on the go, you kind of feel like, oh, like if I'm like cooking pasta, that's like a pretty easy thing to figure out. And then we're like, oh yeah, we're just going to learn on the go, starting our own foundation. So it definitely was, at least, personally kind of like a shock, like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing? But with the help of Paul Harding and also a personal friend of mine, his name is Brandon Dory. He has already started 2 non-for-profit foundations and organizations that it's starting to take off. He's kind of working out of like the Pittsfield area. And so he also was able to provide a lot of help and a lot of expertise in like just how to go about and handling all of this stuff. And so we are, with how Kyle like helped out everybody, we feel like we're kind of like helping everybody and people are kind of giving that back too. So it's like it feels like a very sturdy, healthy thing, I think, for at least most people.
A big team effort for sure. And also I want to mention, I think it's kind of funny because the original thought process behind this situation was looking back at Sister Marianne Nelson's record label and publishing class.
Hey.
Thank you, sister.
We were like, we were asked in that class as part of our final to, create our own record label or recording company or like any sort of company in the music industry. And so she was the one who actually gave us kind of an outline, like in her class, of how to kind of structure this and what you need to think about. And the bylaws was a big one because none of us had any idea, how to do that. And that was even necessary. And so thinking back to her class and that project where in the moment I was like, oh, this is so dumb. And now I'm so thankful that I kind of made a fake company in that.
Yeah, honestly.
You gotta love it when a plan comes together and things come back around. That is awesome. And I bet she must be very proud and very happy about that.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's really cool where it's the give and take that you guys are talking about, all the stuff that you want to give because of what Kyle gave to you guys, but then all these other people that Kyle touched, everybody's coming together in various ways to bring this all full circle. That's amazing. If there's anything that Kyle stood for, it was music and community, and that's what this stands for here, and
absolutely,
which is absolutely tremendous. It's a big team effort, and you guys have a good sized board of directors. You talked about all the friend group and everybody coming together and looking at the faces of the board of directors. It's people all very much in that close circle, and that's really awesome to see. Can you tell a little bit about some of the other board of directors?
So yeah, it's interesting that you say that. It is definitely a big group, and that's something to say that Kyle touched so many people so deeply that the smallest, most concise group of people is over 15, But one of the people that I would say Actually, there are a couple people that have just been real MVPs of this initial process, because when we first did this, it's very difficult to kind of take something that is so personal and deep and just sad and kind of turn it into this project. It's like a lot of give and take of, I just don't really know if I feel like I can do this right now and stuff like that. But some of those people that have been really there every day, all day, I would say are Victoria Christie. She's running the social media. She's been on every day doing her part and stuff like that and just kind of channeling herself. Another person I would say is Nick Santos. He has put together our whole website and is doing all of our graphic design
all
stuff.
the artwork is all everything that you see minus the social media posts is like all Nick. Yes, all the logos, everything.
Yeah, and we have a couple projects coming up too where he's been working really hard, but those are a surprise. So but yeah, so Nick, Tori, Amy is a huge one. I wish she was here to talk, but she has been doing all of our donor related stuff. So she's been reaching out to people, figuring out company matching, stuff like that, figuring out how to tell people that they can still donate, but we're not tax exempt yet, but yes, we are now, and just kind of like doing that kind of stuff. So she is a huge, huge person. Aiden has been another really huge helping hand and just really committed to making this work. He's been doing our monthly newsletters. So if you're not on the monthly newsletter list, you can submit your email address and be put on that. It's on our website. Yeah, so those are just some of the people that have just been there every single day. Like I said, we've got a really big team and everybody is contributing a lot. So I'm just really grateful to have everybody so dedicated and so willing to put in some work for this, even though it's still kind of hard. So yeah.
It kind of makes everything flow a little bit better knowing that you've kind of always got someone covering your back and all that. So, sometimes I think a large team can kind of almost be a hindrance, and at least at St. Rose, I think we've experienced that with working on projects and stuff like that. Sometimes you find that working on music is a bit tough, but our group has kind of been through a lot, and I feel like we all are starting to really develop this sort of cohesive workflow that is actually starting to really push us in some good directions. And I mean, our board, a lot of good heads on everyone's shoulders. Everyone's really kind of in this for the right reasons.
Good heads and good hearts. The group of people that comprise the board of directors and those who I know are affiliated in various ways are definitely good people inside and out. And as you said, you worry about the too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing. But when you have people who are passionate about it and they can bring something to the table and you're all kind of supporting each other, that's fantastic. And that's what really makes something successful. So I'm glad that that's the way that this has been so far.
Same.
Absolutely incredible. And I pray that it continues to look like that for you guys.
Thank you, Connor.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So you guys talked about other people, but give you guys a chance to talk about your roles and what you've doing. Obviously, you've talked about things that you've done already, but give yourselves a little pat on the back. And you can talk about what you do too while just patting yourself.
As treasurer, I've kind of, I guess my role when this all started really wasn't so much treasurer. I guess I was more of just kind of I would kind of just give my advice where it was kind of needed and trying just to make sure that kind of handling all the back of house stuff, making sure that, we weren't spending too much money on stuff and trying to figure out if we had enough in the budget to handle, monthly costs and all that stuff. So all the really fun stuff.
Definitely grounding everything. A lot of good counsel.
I sure hope it's been okay. And then it kind of just worked its way out that I kind of just picked up the treasurer role. I, kind of like just doing the back of house stuff. Contrary to what I'm doing right now, I'm not super all about having my face everywhere, which, take it for what it is. But I kind of like just doing the work, just making sure that things kind of get done, I guess. So that's kind of where I've been. Right now, I have a few things that I'm going to be working on in the future, but a lot of the work that I'm doing over the next few months is really in preparation for tax season.
Oh gosh.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah, Sam's definitely being humble, but he, like most companies, even though we're a nonprofit, it's all about, having the ability to do things and having the ability to support people. And our mission is to provide scholarships. And so without Sam and without somebody to kind of like figure out all of that money stuff and make sure we're staying afloat and we're not paying for useless subscriptions and we're getting all this like money in from you know what I mean? So his role is very big. And even though it's quite boring in my opinion, tax forms and checking our bank account and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely really important, and we couldn't do it without him. So and Sam also is going to be taking part in kind of an upcoming project that we haven't announced yet, but we will probably announce around the time of the telethon. So he'll be taking part in some of that as well. So yeah, I feel like kind of everybody at the moment, since we're so new, we're all just kind of doing what needs to be done where we find that something needs to be done. So even though Sam is treasurer, he's still pitching in certain things that we're like, oh no, we need envelopes. Can you go run to the post office kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
The lines are blurred, but you guys are all figuring it out.
Yeah. And so that being said, I definitely took a huge role in kind of making sure that we became an actual company recognized by the state. Because I had those connections, I was kind of the main one figuring out, you know, where to submit our certificate of incorporation and kind of filling out the IRS forms for tax exemption and all that kind of stuff. But as for my like day-to-day kind of responsibilities, it's really all over the board. I mean, I have been running the weekly meetings and kind of like sending out not assignments, but like things that just need to be done. I'll send it out in the group chat and be like, hey, can somebody do this? And kind of that kind of stuff. More of a delegator, I would say. And an overseer. With the telethon, I'm reaching out to bands, and with social media, I'm helping make the posts and just kind of all this stuff. So my responsibility is definitely a mixed bag.
Yeah, definitely. Also kind of piggybacking off of that, Casey's kind of been the one who just like, again, not the most glamorous work, but stuff that has to get done, you know, like if it's like, oh, this thing has to get done, and, you know, for whatever reason, you know, we haven't delegated properly or however it works out, she's just like, yep, I'm just going to just do it right now. Just take care of it. So it's definitely kind of like you were saying, Connor, like blurred lines across the board, you know, people just kind of just doing what they have to get done.
Well, thank you, Sam.
Y'all are very productive and successful people, so I am not surprised by any means that you guys have been able to put in as much heart and effort into everything that you've done. So again, kudos to you. This is
Thank you, Connor.
great celebration of you guys and all your effort. And you mentioned this just a second ago, the telethon, the Kyle Robinson Memorial Foundation telethon that's happening March 20th, correct?
Yes, on Kyle's birthday.
On Kyle's birthday. Happy birthday, Kyle. And what a celebration it's supposed to be. Can you guys tell us about, I know there's still some stuff that's being planned, but can you tell us some stuff that people can look forward to with that and how they can get involved possibly?
It's going to be approximately 12 hours of musical performances or any sort of performing arts. But yeah, 12 hours, I say lightly because we have gotten a lot of interest so far, which is amazing. So we might end up going for a 16 or 18 hour telethon. We'll see. But yeah, so it's just going to be a large virtual festival type of celebration where we're just compiling videos and submissions from artists across America. We are so excited to say that we have actually reached out to a couple bands that are our idols and stuff, and we've gotten some pretty good responses. So I don't want to give anything away yet because it's not completely confirmed, but the audience can definitely look forward to some exciting bands and things like that. Sam, do you want to talk about how people can get involved maybe?
Obviously the telethon is going to be the whole point is it's going to be a fundraiser for us. So, I mean, obviously, if people want to get directly involved, they can donate either before or during the telethon, or really importantly, spread the word. As silly as it sounds and as cliche as it all is, you know, sharing the posts and trying to fool those nasty algorithms into trying to help us to kind of get the word out. And hopefully, you know, if people are interested in donating content to the telethon, you can, I think we made a post about it yesterday where you can, saying like you can just directly contact us on social media, and that should be a pretty easy way to kind of get yourself involved. And, hopefully, I say this knowing full well that this is going to be released right beforehand. So really the involvement during the telethon, I think, is going to be a ton of help. If people even just want to encourage their grandmother or parents or I don't know, somebody, just spread the word, let them know. Definitely sharing the website too. I think we've been focusing a lot on the social media just because it's a lot easier to get in contact with people, but that the website is a labor of love. Nick put a lot of work into it, and there's a lot of really good content on there already. So if people really want to get to know like how and what Kyle did, definitely go there.
But it is going to be a classic telethon. We're going to have phones and email addresses and all that kind of stuff, and we're just going to be answering the lines all day and ready to answer.
Raising money, trying to do what we can.
Yes, so it's definitely a community effort. You can get involved either by actually getting involved by submitting a video, or you can get involved by supporting the cause, calling in, sharing the word, anything like that. So
and also just to keep doing the piggyback thing, and this will be, this is super helpful, I think, no matter what, is even though like we're trying to push like our foundation, definitely if anybody, and I think we have links and stuff probably somewhere on our website and the Instagram, but going to check out Kyle's high school, and if anybody feels like donating to them too, like they are just as important with all of this as we are. They are really trying to push to not only honor Kyle, but to push for a lot of real support for local music in the Plymouth area, which, I mean, Lord knows quarantine's been tough, and art and music are definitely one of the ways that I know that I've coped. And so if we can just keep supporting your local artists is really what I'm trying to say. And Plymouth and his old high school is really trying to help out with that. Dave Grossman's really, really doing a really great job with all of this.
yes.
Yeah, I had the pleasure to work with Dave when I was making the St. Rose Rocks video, and he seems like a tremendous guy. So definitely,
yeah, really
seems like a great guy to be in touch with and to be working further with. And as you were saying about sharing, to all those listening out there, sharing makes a huge difference. I don't think a lot of people realize how big sharing something is, because first of all, it's getting something out to an audience that the person who's putting all this stuff out can't reach. You have an audience that you can send out to that the initial creator can't get out to, but you can help get it out there. The more shares, the more likes, the more comments will break through those algorithms, because it'll see that enough people are giving it enough attention, and it will not just be breaking through because you're sharing it, but because so many people are sharing it, it'll be seen by others more and more often. That is huge. That is key. And when you want to support something that means a lot to you, like this is a very worthwhile thing to support. Keep that in mind. So share the heck out of it. Make sure that those algorithms don't know what to do, and it just breaks right on through those floodgates. So keep sharing, keep liking, keep doing all that. So we talked about the website and things along those lines. Obviously, you'll have the phone and you'll have the emails the day of. But anybody who wants to donate ahead of time, where can people go?
Right smack dab on the website.
Yes.
There's the first thing that happens when you type in krmemorialfoundation.org is right in the top right hand corner. There's a big button that says donate, and as soon as you click that, it'll walk you through. It's super simple. It's just like, if you're buying something off of like eBay or Amazon. If anybody has someone who doesn't feel super comfortable with donating online and giving their credit card information out, we also are coming up with a few different ways that we're going to handle that, which are going to be present during the telethon. So if people would rather just, handle it over the phone, don't give their credit info to a computer, we're also going to have stuff to take care of that.
And piggybacking off of that, if you are somebody who is interested in donating but wants to donate via check or cash, you can email us at at krmemorialfoundation.org for more information, or you can send a check or cash to our P.O. Box, which is P.O. Box 8521, Albany, New York, 12208. And just address it to Kyle Robinson Memorial Foundation and we will get it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. We're just going through, the website and check or cash right now. And then we're trying to get some sort of way to have a phone option for people who want to call in and ask for more information. But I do want to mention that our website is really cool. Thank you, Nick. There's a whole section on there where you can go and read about Kyle and listen to his music that he's put out and also watch videos of him performing. There's a couple videos of him, lots of pictures, things like that. So if you really just want to get to know Kyle and get in there and learn about why we are so passionate about this, there's also much to explore on that website, along with the donation button.
When we return right after this short break, Kacie and Sam are going to share some special memories they have of Kyle, from working on special projects together to just goofing around and having a great time. All of that right after this. I want to say thank you to all the listeners out there, and welcome to all those who are joining us. I've mentioned this before, but this podcast is kind of like my therapy. I get to talk about subjects that mean a lot to me, and I get to share the stories of incredible people. Any and every little bit of support is appreciated, and I love the little community we've carved out for ourselves. The toll that the COVID-19 pandemic has taken has been large, and as we reach a year of dealing with it, there's still a lot that needs to be worked out. Many of us are yearning to go back to some sense of normalcy that we had prior to COVID, and we hope to move on, but building ourselves up stronger than before. Scotty C and I are releasing our song, Do It Again, on March 26th. This is more than just a regular song. We feel that it is an anthem, an ode to all the struggles that we have faced in the past year and all the memories that we miss. As we come together in solidarity, as we combat this pandemic, let's also come together in song. You can pre-order Do It Again by checking out the links in the description. The song, along with a music video shot and edited by Rachel D'Amico, will be out March 26th. In the meantime, don't forget to keep streaming your favorite songs off my album, Away From Home, check out Scotty C's various works, and keep spending some time with us here on Walsh Wednesday. So, after a year like 2020, I have no idea what 2021 has in store, but I look forward to tackling it all with you. I purposely saved this for the end because I wanted to make sure we could get through all the businessy stuff and the technicality of it. But I wanted to ask you guys about how was it that you came to know Kyle, and if you could share a couple of favorite memories, because yes, a lot of the Walsh Wednesday audience is people that know Kyle, but anybody who doesn't, what can you share about him for us?
Where to start?
Yeah.
That's why I left this for the end, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, my story with Kyle kind of started on the first day of college, actually. So my first day of college, my first class was Music Theory 3, which is kind of strange for a freshman because I had the opportunity to take AP Music Theory in high school. So usually you start with Music Theory 1, then go to 2, then 3, then 4. But because I had that AP credit, I started in Music Theory 3, and so did Kyle, actually. And we were 2 of maybe 3 or 4 freshmen in that class. So obviously we were placed together, seating wise. Mm-hmm. And so I actually ended up sitting next to him on my first day of class, and we kind of just became instant friends. We would just kind of joke with each other all through class. We got in trouble a lot for talking. So yeah, we just became fast friends that way. And then he really just introduced me to all of my other friends, really, and was just kind of a really welcoming person into that. And we, from day one, were just friends, would hang out, would do things together. He sang, I played piano. He would ask me to play for him. I would ask him to sing for me. So just kind of blossomed from there. Sam, do you want to introduce Kyle while I think of one of my favorite memories?
Yeah. So I guess I didn't really talk to him a whole lot, which wasn't like me being like, man, that Kyle guy, I hate that guy. It was more of just like, we all kind of hung out in the same group, but never really like talked to him a whole lot during freshman year. We would play together occasionally, and like, you know, like I said, all of his friends were my friends too. So like we were definitely friends by association, but it wasn't until like sophomore year when we all started playing a lot together, and then we started hanging out more. Tori, Kyle, and I kind of formed this little ragtag group of Dunkin' Donuts coffee getters, where we would spend way too much time at Dunkin' Donuts just talking about absolute nonsense for too long, while we should have been, you know, studying theory and getting ready for all of our exams and performances. And then it really blossomed in junior year when Kyle and I started a band together, and we started doing sleepover sessions, and we really started like it became more of like a, not just like a friendship, but like a working relationship. He was kind of like, you know, like my other half as far as like all that stuff goes. We worked on a lot of projects together. We were in recording engineering and recording production together. So it really started like kind of taking off, and I was like, you know, oh, this is someone who like I could see myself, you know, working with, and you know, have like being my buddy for like the rest of my life. And we started, you know, developing like ideas of stuff that we were going to do after college, and like, oh, like we should, you know, kind of leave the sleepover session legacy for the school and then do something way crazier and funnier. And so it was, we really started kind of like developing a friendship around junior year. I'm incredibly grateful for everything that he's taught me, and like everything that he did for all of us. He also was very much the glue that, like, you know, I wasn't super close with Tori either until like I really got to know Kyle, and then now, you know, Tori's, you know, my best bud. So it's like it all kind of like worked its way around to this really like good friendship.
I did want to ask you if you could explain Sleepover Sessions for anybody who's not aware of it. Obviously,
Right.
I'm aware of it. It was a great kind of like, it was a project that you guys did. It was a talk show. It was music. It was this and that you guys did with a lot of people. But can you explain it in better detail than I could?
So Sleepover Sessions came out of Kyle and I don't know. I feel like when everyone's like a bit younger, they're always like, "Oh my God, we should totally start a band." For us, it was like, "Oh, we should totally start an NPR Tiny Desk knockoff. That would just be like the best thing ever." And so we spent way too many nights brainstorming and like aggressively just like yelling at each other over like the logistics of how we were going to do this. And it was all in good fun. And so we eventually came up with this idea for doing this like very cozy lighting, almost like, you know, because a lot of these or not a lot of them, but like sometimes it can feel like virtual concert kind of like Tiny Desks, the audio trees, the KXPs seem a bit professional, and we wanted to be professional but let everyone know that they could be cozy as heck and play their music as they would in their like house. So that was a lot of where the inspiration came from, and we ended up having two really, really awesome artists on. We had Joram or Pink Noise, I should say, and we also had Julie Gargano come on for our second one. And it was, we had a lot of plans. We had a ton of plans to, we were going to do upwards, I think, of like 5 or 6 for last year. But, you know, due to COVID and due to obviously the unforeseen, you know, circumstances of his passing, we never really had the chance to finish it up. So, but it is a live performance show where with a very, very small talking aspect to it. That was totally Kyle's idea. We tried doing an interesting twist on this typical interview where we tried having a direct one-to-one interview and I guess like a third person view where Kyle would just speak over the loudspeaker and try and provide some sort of wacky, witty question or other.
It was cute. It was very cute.
It was definitely something. Never quite got to refining it, but you know, maybe I'll put that on the back burner for something else.
I don't know, something like that. I don't know if ever really needs to be refined. There's a charm to what it was and what it is.
Yeah, and that was totally in the nature of everything else that we did. Was a lot of what we did was very sporadic, and even though we would come up with all these plans, we'd do write-ups, we'd have all of these ideas that we were like, yeah, we're going to do it exactly this way. And then, the day comes when we're like, what if we didn't do any of the stuff that we talked about? And some of it was great. Some of it really, really came to bite us in the ass afterwards. But it was a lot of fun. And it's one of my favorite things is being able to work on video projects like that.
Thank you for explaining that. And
Yeah, of course.
sorry to butt in, Kacie. I just figured have a little sound bit of that to add in.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. That was a huge project that they worked on. So I'm really glad that it has its moment to shine. And they still have an Instagram, the Sleepover Sessions. So you can still go on and see the Julia Gargano and the Pink Noise performances. And
you can hear Kyle talking over the loudspeaker.
Yes. And maybe in the future, you might see more.
Hey, wink, wink.
Perhaps.
Y'all can't see it, but she's winking.
But yeah, so anyways, I do have a couple stories. I mean, there's so many. Kyle was the type of person that everything he did just seemed like he invented it, and it was hilarious, and it was just amazing. So, but I do have a couple stories that just kind of gather some feelings about him and his quirkiness and stuff like that. So like Sam was saying, Tori and Kyle used to go to Dunkin' all the time, literally every single day, to the point where the three of them would be so insufferable about Dunkin' that they would just look at each other and then just go, oh, okay, yeah, and then leave. So anyways, that being said, Kyle was going to have diabetes at some point because this guy just had so many creamers and
he wasn't drinking coffee. My guy was
coffee.
He would get it would be like maybe like just like this much coffee, but he would get 5 creams, 5 sugars, and as many goddamn pumps of whatever flavor he felt like, or combination of them.
No.
And we were always like, Kyle, dude, you have to stop doing this. The donut thing was cool because it's like a little thing that they put there, like, answer this free survey. And so Kyle and I would actually like race to see who could get the donut first, which was a lot of fun. But he had it down to a science. I almost never beat him because he was so good at just inputting it right before he was going to get his drink, and then just bam.
So he would have his
donut.
sugar drink and chocolate glazed cake donut every time. So my story kind of has to do with the fact that he was trying to be better. Okay. So he was trying to work it down to maybe like 1 cream, 1 sugar, right?
That was like one time. We got him down to that, and then like the next day he was like back up to like 2 or 3.
Yeah. So junior year we took a class together. A lot of people in the story was that he tried black coffee and he didn't hate it, and he was stirring it with a pencil. So
he did. That's the funniest part for me. He opted. There weren't any like spoons or anything, like no utensils, and he kept joking about bringing his own spoons to class, but he'd always forget. And there was this graphite-ridden pencil that was, sitting with everyone's fingerprints on it, and he would just take it and, couldn't and watching him stand up in the front of the class, like stirring his coffee with a pencil, had to have been one of the funniest things.
I love that.
I'll let Sam tell the trash pizza story, perhaps.
Yeah, I can do that.
One. This is a good one.
So for anyone that doesn't know, there's this fun game called Odds, which our friend group plays religiously. And so basically it's like, you give a range of numbers and you both guess on the count of 3, and if you say the same number, you have to do the thing. So like in this case, Tori had dared Kyle to eat pizza that was in the trash, and the odds were 1 in I think it was 1 in 100. I think it was 100 or 150, 175, somewhere around there. And they both said 47. And it was one of those things where like you watch both of their mouths go and you're like, oh my God, like they both just said the same thing. So this was at the studio airlock right before Pro Tools was about to, or was it Pro Tools? It was. I think so, because I remember Sean Wendell and Jordan walking in, and they both were just like, "Oh, what's going on?" And we were like, "Kyle has to eat trash pizza. And they were like, oh, okay. And so luckily it was the only thing in the garbage can, and it also turned out to be Dan's pizza.
Dan, one of my other friends, a board of director in the foundation, who is actually my boyfriend, but
and the second founding member of Alumni of Choice.
Check them out.
But so anyways, we ended up finding out that it was Dan's pizza, and this whole thing is really funny. But what makes it even better is the fact that because of that, Kyle got strep throat like 2 days afterwards, and he's like, yeah, it was totally the trash pizza.
Did it turn out that Dan had strep throat and he threw the pizza away? And then
I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was too coincidental that he was like, yeah, it was absolutely the trash pizza that made me sick.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, had they known that it was Dan's pizza, they probably would have felt better about it. It's one of those small world things, but we like to laugh about that a lot because it just goes to show that Kyle really committed to the bit.
He always committed to the bit. And if he didn't, we shamed him.
I was told, though, when I heard this story that Tori was like, no, you really don't actually have to do it. And
she did. She was like, dude, you don't have to eat the pizza. She's like, no, I lost odds. I'm going to eat the pizza.
I think that just makes it even better. It's just like, we never thought it would actually come this far. No, don't.
Yeah, it was like, no one wants to see you eat trash pizza. It's like, well, God damn it, you're going to watch me eat trash pizza.
I think that definitely says a lot about him and his character and all that. And many of reasons why we love them.
Yeah. He was a very large fan of having fun with friends. So there are almost infinite stories that we could tell. But I think at least one of the ones for me is the amount of which that he loved just making music. Because even with everything that we did, and we can tell all these funny stories about how he liked to stir coffee with a pencil or eat trash pizza. The dude he had such an ear and was one of the biggest inspirations I think for all of us in our friend group for taking music so seriously, but not taking yourself too seriously. So take pride in your work, create music that you're proud of, but have fun with it. And I think that really inspired a lot of our senior projects, because I think a lot of us by the end were really having a lot of fun in it. And as much as we didn't have Kyle around, it totally felt like we did, because we were trying to channel his spirit and really just put kind of everything we had into it just the way that he would have.
I really like what Sam just said, and I just want to add that he was, in my opinion, probably the most talented producer in our class.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, he was an amazing songwriter, amazing vocalist. We used to joke about how Kyle could sing in any style and sound amazing. And he was just one of those people where if you needed something done musically, you would go straight to him first thing. Yeah, he just was just one of those people where if he was singing backup, he was secretly the star of the show, So yeah, just an inspiration all around, and very missed. So yeah.
Truly, for sure. But one thing's for certain, after listening to you guys' playbacks and seeing all the work that you guys are doing with the foundation, it is clear to see that he's not gone by any means, because he's obviously living on through everything that you guys are doing. You can hear him in all the music. You can see and feel him in all the efforts that you guys are putting through. He is obviously with us now in this conversation. Without a doubt, regardless of the physical time that we had on Earth with him, there is no way that he's not with us through everything else that we do. So guys, seriously, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for what you're doing with the foundation. We are looking forward to the telethon again, March 20th, everybody. You guys stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff, and be checking out the social medias for more information as it comes out. All of those links will be in the description. Kacie, Sam, this was an incredible interview. Sorry about all the technical issues, but
don't even worry about it, Connor.
Incredible interview nonetheless. So thank you guys very much for coming on.
Thanks for having us, Connor.
So much. And Connor, I just want to share with you one last thing. Because we just thank you so much for inviting us on here. And because you are a fellow St. Rose buddy, I just wanted to share with you that we actually do have something really exciting coming from Kyle himself. Kyle was able to record a single before he passed, and he didn't release it. And so we actually have that. We have the master of it, and we're planning on releasing it sometime this summer. It's called Bleed Out. So be looking out for that. And we're just really excited to share that. That's a secret. We're only sharing it with you.
I love it. And get the inside scoop ahead of time. Love it.
Yeah. And he also, I mean, just kind of one final thing, additionally with the single that he wrote, he was it got to a point where I remember him saying like he was finally like, he started like developing his sound, and he started making music that he was really proud of. And this was like the first song where he was like, guys, like he was really excited. Like he brought it to everybody, was getting everyone's like mix notes on it. And he was just like, guys, it's like, this is it. I want to do something with it. He talked with Kiki about how our friend Kiki, who, yep, and he talked with her about how he wanted that to be released. So we've been taking notes from that and trying to create some artwork that he potentially might have been super down with. And then on top of that, I mean, with the fact that he had so many hats, there's still going to be music coming out, like hopefully within like the next year, that Kyle is actually going to be featured on. So definitely keep your ears and eyes open for some of our fellow musicians releasing music in the coming year, because you might find a little Kyle Easter egg.
Yes.
That's what we love to hear. That is absolutely what we love to hear, and very excited about all that. And once more's out and more's going on about that, please let us know, and we'll get that information out there. Plus, also, you guys are welcome back anytime. So no, keep that in mind.
Thanks, Connor.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You guys are very welcome. Again, thank you for tuning in to this special episode of Walsh Wednesday, the Reflective Series. For more on the Kyle Robinson Memorial Foundation, Sleepover Sessions, Saturday's Telethon, our sponsored content, and more, please check out the links in the description. I look forward to seeing y'all tune in this Saturday. And remember, whatever amount you're able to give, it all makes a difference. On behalf of Kacie, Sam, and the whole foundation, I'm Conor Walsh, and I'm glad we get to spend some time.